Have you ever heard of X Mods? What about Hex Mods? Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing something just a little bit different than we normally would. If you're not new around here, you would know that this channel focuses mainly on hobby grade RC cars and mainly these days on hobby grade RC rock crawlers and trail trucks. So today we're kind of going to take a little detour from the usual programming, and we're going to look at a product called Hex Mods by Hexbug. Okay, so if you are anywhere near my age demographic, you probably remember X Mods. What X Mods were kind of like a pseudo hobby grade RC car type thing. They also made trucks that were sold by Radio Shack, and they came in like a plastic organizer with parts and stuff like that. You could take it apart, you could put it together, you could customize it, and eventually there was like an aftermarket following for these things, so you could get like hotter motors and like better batteries and different electronics, even chassis, aluminum parts. Like, they really took off for a while there, and you know, they have since disappeared, and I think Radio Shack has also pretty much disappeared. But yeah, so I never expected to see anything like this in 2023, but these Hex Mods are shockingly similar to the X Mods, even the name. So I saw it at Target, I had to pick it up, I just had to. There's no way that I can't not check this out, because when I was younger, I did have an X Mods myself. So with that being said, let's go ahead and tear into this box and see what they got in there. All right, if you've never heard my desk shaking around before, today could be the day. It is not much of a little table that I have here for you guys at this time. So she's wobbly. All right, we got the box open, and we are now sliding out literally everything. The instructions and stuff are on the back, going to fall out without a doubt. Yeah, buddy. Kept that mostly in frame. I'm happy about that. All right, so here are the instructions, and this is a thick old book, so we'll have to take a gander at those. Okay, so just really quickly, we're going to go over what all is included in here. We have a little piece, like a display piece of the track. We have body parts. We have the radio over there. We've got some stickers down here, a whole bunch of different wheels. We have the body. We have several different sets of tires, including some drift tires, which are hard plastic. We have the chassis itself. We have an optional motor. We got a differential, underglow lighting, a little thing here full of basically what appears to be tuning parts. So springs, looks like some little dog bones in there. We have some gears and some stuff like that, and then a little USB charger for it. Oh, don't forget the lights and apparently some steering links. We'll get up close, dig in here, and see what that's all about in just a minute. All right, so we finally have everything out of the box here. We have the body, some tools and accessories, tires over here. Over here we have the little body accessories, and those I'm just going to leave attached to the cardboard for now, because I don't think I'm going to use any of them yet, except for maybe this sunroof looking kind of thing here. Or actually, wait. That is an engine cover. This is sort of like a sunroof. So I may use that. Here is an example of the track. It's just kind of like a rubbery thing. And they link together. They come in this orangish red and white. They link together, and they even have little end caps. So as far as everything we have over here, we have the body. This is just like some kind of generic supercar vibe. It looks nice. Nice kind of hard plastic deal. It's got really soft mirrors, so I don't think that those will break off. These here are like little underglow sticks. That looks like they come in green and blue. I'll have to confirm. If it's any different, I'll let you know. I do believe I will install some of these, because why not? We have an LED light kit here. These will get installed. We have an assortment of wheels here. I will probably be using some of these. I just have to decide which ones that I want to use. Here we have an assortment of springs, gears, dog bones, whatever is all the way on the left there, and a couple extra hexes and just some other things. I'll have to look in the manual and see what everything is. I do know that the red gear there is the high speed, and the green gear here is the fast acceleration. The ones that come in there are balanced, I think. And yeah, and a lot of different springs. I'm assuming they're just at different spring rates. We also get this motor here. I'm guessing that this is a higher speed motor. And it's interesting, these springs are actually the electrical contacts for the motor. We also get an additional differential for this. I'm assuming that, or actually I'm not assuming, I know that this will allow you to turn it into a four-wheel drive little car. The transmitter is pretty interesting. It's just this weird, funky looking little guy. It has your throttle trim or actually it has your steering trim up top. It has a high speed and low speed switch at the very top there. And the power button. This back here is your steering sensitivity. And then just your basic controls. It's lightweight and it runs off of 3 AAA batteries. Okay, back to these tuning parts here really quick. So I lied to you earlier. The green gears here are actually the balanced gears. The red gears are in fact the speed gears, and the gears that come installed already are gray, and those are the acceleration gears. The springs are as follows. I think that, yeah, okay, so the silver springs that are sitting there are the hardest spring. The purple ones are the second hardest, and the green ones here are a medium. It appears that the other springs, the ones that are installed on the vehicle itself, are the soft springs. All right, so here is the chassis here. You can see the motor in the back here, pinion. I guess that down there would be considered the spur gear. We have suspension in all 4 corners. It's actually pretty plushy too. Like, there's a lot of suspension travel for something so small. The rear diff feels a little crunchy, but since it's all plastic, I'm guessing that'll probably all wear out. Most of everything in the chassis is covered. I'm thinking that this is the steering, servo, and gear set kind of all right there. And there's a power button on the bottom. And it's got kind of like a little pattern printed into it. It's pretty neat. We wired the body up. So we have lights on the body, and I popped the black roof on instead of the red one that was there. But I think that's probably all I'm going to do for the body mods, at least right now. We'll just leave it like that. I am, however, going to install some of these underglow units. I think, honestly, I'll do one of each. I'll do a green and a blue on there, and we'll see how they look. All right, we have underglow. Blue on one side. We are green on the other. The headlights work, and the taillights work, and I thought this was pretty cool. It has brake lights. Isn't that cool? And then brake again to reverse. It is a very, very loud drivetrain. All right, so I did sort of like a homemade track in the garage. I felt like that would probably be the most often way that this would be used, like the most realistic way. And there was, I mean, it wasn't that fast. So if we're going to compare it to the Mini Z, which is something that I was going to do, the first thing we got to take into account here is that the Mini Z costs a good bit more than this, almost $100 more depending on what you get. And the Mini Z it's a hobby grade RC car, so like you are certainly going to get a higher performer, a better experience overall with the Mini Z. This, on the other hand, is like a toy grade RC car that's sort of starting to try to reach into like what we would do hobby grade wise. Some replaceable parts, upgradable parts, some customizability. The radio itself is fully proportional, and it does have some settings like steering trim, and back here is sort of like a dual rate. You have like 3 steering wheel icons here that let you, kind of choose how much throw you want. And then there is like another switch up here that is like a throttle dual rate, so you can do like a lower or higher throttle there as well. So it's like a higher end toy grade RC car is what it's supposed to be like intended to do. And what I had hoped that it was going to do was kind of be like the Hex Mods were, where it was pretty good, and if you upgraded it some and tinkered with it some, you would be somewhat near the level of, like the Mini Z. But I'm not going to say that that's the case here. As a matter of fact, I would not probably recommend this product for anybody that has any experience with hobby grade RC cars. If you're at that point, then just save up, buy a Mini Z if you want a little small car. For a beginner, also, I would just say to continue to save up a little bit. There's just too many issues here with manufacturing quality, and that's where it really started to hamper on the performance a little bit. Like, I couldn't get it into 4-wheel drive because the hubs here were not like properly slotted to accept the dog bones, and I mean, there just wasn't a good way to do it. I could take it apart, I could slot it myself, sure, but I'm not trying to go that far with something like this. Another thing that I noticed was that like the steering just really isn't that great. It could be smoother. I've seen toy grade RC cars with smoother steering, so not that happy with that. And then the biggest issue was actually the differentials. I was never able to make this guy 4-wheel drive because the diffs just bind so incredibly badly, that plus the dog bones, that it just wasn't going to happen. So even the diff that comes in here binds up pretty badly. And so I did today do a little bit of research, and I took apart the diff and looked inside, and surprisingly it's greased, and everything in the little gear diff actually doesn't look too bad. I think what the issue is that maybe at the factory it was over tightened, because if I loosen it just a little bit, I do start to get a little bit smoother diff action, and that probably would have helped this guy around the track. My fastest lap that I could get with this, and I am by no means well practiced or even like a professional RC car racer by any means, but the fastest lap I was able to get with this was in the high 5s or the low 6s. I think it was like a 5:55 or something like that. It could have also just been like a low 6. I don't remember, and I accidentally did not mail myself the results from this one's run, but I do remember looking at them and noticing that the fastest lap was in the high 5s. The average lap for this was around 7 seconds, so not too great. You can watch in the video there, I just struggle with the thing. I'm just having a hard time getting it to get through the turns without looping out, and that was hugely because of the diff. Like, that rear diff was just, sometimes it would work correctly and I would get through the corner predictably, and sometimes it would just unload or like lock up on one side, or something weird would happen and it would just spin out. You can see also I did do the track with the Mini Z a few times. That was a hoot. That was a lot of fun. And the Mini Z performed like a Mini Z. You know, it was consistent. It was easy to drive. I didn't have to wrestle with it the entire time. It was much faster, and everything was fine. Still didn't drive it that great, but you can definitely tell a difference. I'm not struggling with the Mini Z at all. Looking around online, I did notice that Hex Mods at some point produced a bearing kit for this, so it does seem like at some point they were trying to like maybe produce some upgrades, maybe do something to kind of like get it closer to that hobby grade feel. But when I looked online, I looked at Amazon, it was unavailable there. You could put bearings in here. You could probably make a number of upgrades to this thing. It's certainly powerful enough, and I mean, it is cool in some ways. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend this item. So with that being said, I might tinker with this a little bit since I already have it. Like, there's just no point in letting it rot on the shelf. I might tinker with it and see if I can get it to perform any better. And if I can, I will post like an update or something on it. But for now, I'm just going to have to stick with not recommend on this one. But I would recommend a Mini Z if you're looking for something similar.